This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan, and you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com. That's mitt.tv.romeo@gmail.com. Good afternoon. This is Kelly Stevens with the Greater Romeo-Washington Chamber of Commerce. I'm here today with board members Todd Robinson, Eric McClure, Steve Balsam, and Taylor Breinart. We will be discussing the Chamber's strategic plan which was launched at the end of March. Our plan gives us a roadmap for the Chamber that will follow us from this year through 2025. I'm going to start with Superintendent Todd Robinson, who led this initiative. Todd, tell us how we got into this.
So, Kelly, we know this was a journey for the board, but definitely enjoyable. And for me, personally, there's times being on the Chamber board that, I kind of question how I fit being an education person and not necessarily a business person. But so it was exciting for me to kind of join the vision team that had been kind of put out there to make a plan to improve the Chamber. And so it gave me a chance to maybe take some of the things that I'd been through before and help the business community in our area improve. So we were at this for a while. I think when we talk about the journey, it started really more than probably almost a year and a half ago now.
I was going to say 18 to 20 months almost.
Yeah.
Yep.
So at that time, Steve was our president, and I remember in the fall he had kind of reorganized some committees around some professional reading we had done, and that's when the visioning team was launched. And we had a series of, I'm going to guess, 3 or 4 meetings where we were just trying to figure out how could we benchmark ourselves against other reputable chambers, not just from the area, but maybe even nationally. So that's where we kind of dove into the national organization, and we found some chambers that were Chambers of the Year nationally, and it gave us at least something to correlate to locations our size and how we could get better. And at that point in time, we just kind of went through traditional strategic planning process that I think many of our corporations, even maybe some of our smaller businesses have done. And the goal of that is to come out with a few things. Of course, a roadmap for the future, but we typically, revisit mission and vision and things like that. So the mission statement from the Chamber had been probably the thing that was most recently updated. That was before I joined the board, but that kind of was more current. And so the mission statement, after all was said and done, stayed the same, and that's to promote, educate, and assist in the growth and success of the business community. So we like that. We think that's a solid mission statement. But we had more discussion around the vision. So if mission is who you are, which I think our mission statement adequately represents, the current status of the board, we wanted to do a little bit more, maybe a little forward thinking with our vision statement. So the vision statement and the updated plan is to be a valued partner in the business community by invoking resources that promote growth, networking opportunities, and support for our engaged membership. And I think when we think about that, I remember the board's conversation. We were pulling out of all the work, that idea of growth, like, it was an intrinsically a high value thing, and what we think the members have told us. Networking opportunities are vital, to the success of the Chamber, because that's what our business owners want. And then that key of engaged membership. So I was thankful that the board as a whole was, kind of taking ownership of our part of this, but also striving to have this plan be viable enough that we just increase the engagement of our membership. So, not to get in details, but the board, I think, is important. We set 4 core values: integrity, commitment, trust, and legacy. And the most unique for me, having done this a variety of times in my schoolwork, was just that voice to legacy. I am so grateful that the current board members want to leave the Chamber better for
Absolutely.
echelons who come beyond them. And that's all the way from the director all the way down to our newest board members want to invest, grow, and leave it better than they found it. So after all of that, we've got a good plan, and we have broken into these three pillar teams. And the three pillars, we'll hear more about from some of our other board members, but excited about what this means for the business community and for our individual members.
Yes, I was pleased with the process that we went through, having been in this job for almost 9 years as the director. I've never had a more engaged group of people come and want to work so hard for us to make us better and leave that legacy.
Yeah, those Saturday morning meetings, like people
Yes,
giving up half their Saturday to do this kind of work is
impressive,
yeah, it
impressive.
speaks to the commitment of
And
the
not
board.
only the Saturday mornings, but it was in June when
Yes.
everybody's breaking out of their routines and
Yeah.
going on summer vacation.
Yeah.
Talk about the profile of a thriving chamber member that came out of this work.
Yeah, so that was kind of unique. Kind of stole that from some of the work that was done in the school district back when we launched the academies. And grateful that Scott Palmer joined us. He does a ton of this kind of work nationally, internationally now. And so, I had spoken to Scott about, Scott, I think maybe you could help facilitate this part of the process with us. So the profile of a thriving chamber member is really something that we want, for our current members to be able to just share with someone who's inquiring about. I think it can create a little bit of inspiration for people, but also say, here is kind of a visionary thing too. Like, this is what we think a thriving chamber member works towards, and it isn't a finished product right when a member joins, especially if they're a new business in the community. We set this up, and we went through a lot of work. This was probably two full sessions to kind of flesh this all out. But we had 5 key attributes to what we believe is the profile of a thriving chamber member. The first is reputable. And reputable speaks to the need to have a passion for the community. This is someone who's reliable and accountable, and someone who is just honest and credible in their beliefs and actions. And that's so many of our members, but we think this is important, maybe now more than ever, that this idea of a thriving chamber member is reputable in the community, not just our local community, but whatever industry their business exists in. And finally, in that area, it would be to demonstrate, this idea of integrity and leadership. And they're certainly at least a leader within their own business and maybe wider. Next is that idea of dedicated, or dedication. And, this means this thriving member is committed to their membership. They seek to leverage member benefits. And I've heard you say it a lot of times throughout the years I've been on the board. Like, there's benefits out there that not all members know about. And so we've got some ownership in that in our strategic plan, but we also want to make sure our members take advantage of it. And that they just are involved in a variety of the chamber offerings. And finally, I think in this section, it's just valuing that service-oriented approach. And so many of our business owners, it's just intrinsic to their work professionally. But we spoke to it here that this is a service-oriented organization, and so the board wants to serve our members, and we think the members, have to reciprocate in that. The third attribute was connected, and that is someone that builds strong relationships in the community, promotes and participates in networking opportunities. We talked about the importance of networking. Gains access to the resources again, and leverages the expertise of the membership. We have so many different kinds of businesses that a thriving member would be leaning on, maybe people from a different industry, for advice and maybe actually services. And that comes best, I think, out of our TNT groups in that, where they have a regular system to this, but we have a lot more members that don't necessarily participate or fit into those groups. Community engaged, I always tell people, if you're going to talk about, this area, you're going to hear one of two words or both, family and community. So the board felt that community engaged was really important, and I think the size of our chamber supports that. that you can be a little bit more directly connected to the community. They're informed and they understand, the local municipal activities. We've done some concerted efforts, and it's in this plan to stay connected to our different municipalities. And we think a thriving member has to be aware of that, specifically maybe more to the municipality that their business resides in. But overall, what happens in the community impacts all. So
Absolutely.
be aware. Maybe more personal to me is supporting our schools and connections there, nonprofit organizations, local businesses, and industry at large. So we think a thriving member meets these different levels of engagement. And finally, growth-minded. I think that's one of the essence of this plan is, the board is trying to move the organization out of what some might call a fixed mindset and really be more growth-minded. So a thriving chamber member would share valuable resources within, that our community, seeking opportunities for professional development. I think of some of the manufacturing networking events that we've had that have brought in people together to hear from experts on different facets of business. We want to grow that. Future podcasts, just like this one, are going to provide insight, to specific topics of business. Embracing the value of mentorship. We think that that's really important, that as you join the chamber and you move through time in your membership, that you're thriving when you're actually, mentoring other new members. That could be formally through the ambassador role. Eventually, at some point, maybe even being part of the board. And then finally, just that collaboration with like-minded business people. We need a lot, to happen, and many hands make light work is what my grandmother used to always say when it was time to do the dishes on Thanksgiving. So this profile is something that we're looking to have readily available, on the website. And if someone says, well, what's in it for me, in this chamber, well, we think this is what a thriving chamber member looks like. So
I will tell you, the office staff has found this probably the most valuable document out of our strategic plan. When we're orientation with new members, this is exactly what we're speaking to. So we really appreciate putting this one together.
Yeah. And I think there's a level of accountability for us on the board that a member could say, like, hey, this is what you guys put on paper. We
got to step up and do it, right?
Yes, agreed. So excited about this part of the plan.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So Todd Robinson spoke about out of our workshop that the strategic plan would have 3 pillars to it. We have our engagement pillar, our communication pillar, and our growth pillar. The engagement emphasizes supporting the business community through strong relationships with our members. We also strive to serve and support the local community. Steve, talk about the engagement a little bit further.
Sure. Well, with any successful strategic plan, you start with focus, and you hope to end up with actionable items. And so with engagement, building that relationship was key between the business community and the members themselves and the board, etc. We started with we will statements, affirmation statements, and in engagement we had 4. The first one being a part of our event planning and working on events we had today and looking at new ones, which ones that we could take our thriving members and get them more engaged and to be focused on how we could build the chamber itself. The second one being focused on local municipalities and nonprofits and school partners, and us being part of some of those business plans that they have, their regular meetings, just being engaged with our community on all facets of it. Thirdly, our networking groups. We have several. We have the day ones during the week that are focused on local businesses. We have manufacturing networking, which is more of a quarterly thing with the group. But we're also bringing on the new one with the healthcare pillar or healthcare sector. and then also nonprofits. And the last one we looked at was the ambassadors. We have ambassadors that, they're more than just ribbon cutting. How can we take what Todd had expressed upon, a mentorship approach, take it, look at it from a new member coming in? How can we utilize these ambassadors to take them from a member into other aspects of the whole chamber, maybe even grow eventually to a board member and actively participate in the leadership of that group?
Thank you. Another pillar is our communication pillar. Believe strong and effective communication is the key to success. Providing important and timely information in an efficient manner helps support our success and trust in the organization. Taylor, you're part of that pillar group. You want to explain that a little further?
Yeah, of course. So communication, obviously that's a broad term, and describing that took a little bit of time to really hone down what we want to focus there, but communication and making sure that we're moving that into the digital age. So one of our main focus is, and we have 4 points as well we'll go through, but one of our main focuses is the website, and making that the main branch of how we communicate to our members. So one of the first we wills create a multifaceted communication system that allows for efficient two-way communication with our members. So how do our members communicate to us, and then how do we communicate back to them? So whether that's they want to let us know a event that they're having, or how do they get an event that they're running out to the mass membership that we have and beyond, because a lot of people might not be members, but they follow what we do. Deliver timely, interactive, and easy to calendar invites. So that goes back to the communication system. So with the digital age and everything being on our cell phone, once you go to our website, how do we get it on your cell phone? Whether that's your cell phone calendar, whether that's a text message. So we are looking into how do we send text reminders for events. I know for me, I have a bunch of different things that I follow through the community, my own personal, just had a kid. So that, there's a lot of different things that people have going on in their lives. So how do we get it to just make it as easy as possible? And for me, a text reminder would be great. So that's one of our main focuses as well. Execute marketing strategies that present the chamber as professional and essential organization for all businesses in our area. So we have a lot of members that have a lot of knowledge. So how do we create different strategies to let them know that they have access to that knowledge? So all the professionals giving back to each other. So finding a way to communicate that to the rest of the membership. And then finally, strive to celebrate the success of our organization and individual members' achievements through our communication channels. So there's a lot of members that have given back to our chamber in a lot of different ways, whether that's sponsoring events or just the years of service that they've been a member. So being able to celebrate them, and this podcast is honestly one of them that we thought about. How do we get back and maybe bring some of those members and say, hey, let's hear what you've done throughout your lifetime through the Romeo Chamber and your business and how it's grown, to maybe show other new prospects or new members, hey, this is what I want to strive to do. And then, hey, maybe later on, 10 years from now, they can join on. So thank you.
Thank you, Taylor. Our final pillar of the plan is our growth pillar. It is committed to the continued growth of our organization through strong member and staff development. We will benchmark ourselves against the best through the standards set by the ACCE, a national organization for chambers of commerce. Eric, why don't you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely, Kelly. All right, so growth. That was my pillar that I worked on with my team. Growth is all about, we got to build up the chamber. We got to get more members. We just got to keep growing it. And with the strategic plan, it's the final step in the plan itself. So a little bit about the we will statements we came up with. We want to grow the capacity of the chamber through increased membership. So we just don't want to add the members in, but we want to make sure when we do add members and new ones, we educate them with the strategic plan and the placement mats and everything, so they know exactly what's going on. The chamber itself, we struggled a little bit through COVID, like everyone else did. So we're trying to build the chamber back up. So the growth part is going to be very critical. The second we will statement is to develop the professional capacity of our staff and board members through ongoing training and professional development. So naturally, that's not something that we have, but we scout this out with the ACCE. They're helping us. They have other chambers that are our size that we can go, basically view how they're getting to where they are, how they got there, and through that we have different professional capacity and training that we can do. So we're trying to also learn as we go on. We just don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. So we're trying to do something new each year. So the development part is very critical. Clearly define and communicate what a successful chamber membership is, and provide a pathway that supports our membership to achieving and engaging, supportive, and rewarding memberships. It's kind of funny. I'll go back to the first time that I got brought to the board member meeting, and I was an ambassador. So that was how me and Taylor both started and became board members. We went through the ambassador path. But I remember when I first got there, my question was, what do we actually do? And now that I'm so engaged, it's very clear to me. But this is something that we want to make clear for everyone. We want them all to understand what the chamber is and the different things that are involved in the chamber. I had no idea what involvement was. I became a member just because of the networking. This is so much more than networking now to me. I'm a part of the community. It's just, everything's just more engaging. So this is a really good one for me because, like I said, I really didn't understand it. The last part, add additional staff to increase the support and services we provide to our members. Staffing's always a critical part. We know how the struggles are with staffing. As we get bigger, we know we're going to need more staff. And I believe Todd said it. We want to leave it better when we're done than what we've had in the past. This is also going to be through the training and everything. Whoever we bring on, and when we decide to build up, we're going to make sure that they're properly trained and everything. So it's a great pillar. I love the growth.
Thank you, Eric. Well, I can say on behalf of the chamber staff that this work is probably one of my most proudest things we've done since I've been in this position. But I'll go back to something that Todd always said to us during this process. Yes, we did complete this, right? But now the real work starts. It's not only the engagement of new events, which we did hold a new event this year, Dueling Pianos, but it's getting the website redone. It's getting our membership numbers up, right? So yes, as going forward now, we have to really put in the work to get this to be a success. So with that, thank you, gentlemen, for coming in today and joining me to explain our strategic plan. I would like to talk about our upcoming event that we have this Friday, June the 16th. It's our 11th annual Night Under the Stars. And this year we feature our hometown success story, Joe Brewer. We pick a success story every year, so obviously he is our 11th one, but it's just always an awesome event that night to hear from his growing up in Romeo to where he's come out to be. We also highlight some artists and our food vendors. So this event helps support the Chamber's foundation, the Northern Macomb Foundation. So if you'd like to join us on Friday, June 16th from 6 to 10, you can call the office at 586-752-4436 to secure your ticket to the event. Hope to see you there.
And as a reminder, I'll be bartending.
This podcast is powered by the Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than Mitt TV. They can get you access to equipment, a production engineer, and can even edit your podcast. That's all right here at Mitt TV of Romeo, Michigan, and you can contact them right now via email at mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvromeo@gmail.com.